Hey friends, JB bringing you wisdom. JB presents wisdom one more day at a time. Look, we're already knocking this whole book of Proverbs out. We're in chapter 20 already. And you know what? It's not my wisdom. This is the wisdom that God's giving us step by step, chapter by chapter, verse by verse. And we're just tackling it. We're going to make some comments, then we're going to read it out. That's the format. No big deal. Nothing complicated. Now, many people may be wondering, what is this doing for me? Well, it should be pouring into you. It should be, if you listen, you should be getting a sense of what you can do and what's possible. All right. Because at the end of this, even through this, I'm being blessed. It's something that you won't understand unless you really have wisdom. So if you're just starting out and you're like, let's say you're at ground zero and you're like, Lord, give me wisdom. Okay. You said a good prayer and it's going to take some time. Okay. It's not like a upload to your computer, like a Windows update or a Mac update where you are simply, oh, pour it into me, fuse it into me because I need this right now. Our society tells us I need this right now. You're going to have difficulty if you're part of a generation who was born with the immediacy of the gadgets and apps of the world. Okay. It's going to be a struggle for you because it's going to be an adjustment. This thing called wisdom takes time, and it takes understanding, and it takes discernment, and it takes study, and it takes experience. You're going to have to go through a lot of this. And there's some who will probably be more receptive to it, but nonetheless, it takes time. It doesn't just, it's not just big bang, okay? It's no bang, bang, bang. It's think and process. All right, let's look at this. Wine is a mocker, strong drink a brawler. Whoever is led astray by it is not wise. Wine is a mocker. If you are in the business of drinking a lot of wine and and strong drink as well, and many of these, depending on how much you have, there's really not much difference because there's some equity when you have certain volumes of wine in comparison with similar smaller volumes of strong drink that will equate to the same thing. Yet the Bible allows you to drink, but it's not the only thing I would say is that the problem with it is that there's not like it's not like a hard and fast rule. People would want you to believe that one beer a night was fine, or 3 beers in one sitting is okay, or a 6-pack is okay. The thing of it is you have to discern for yourself where you are on that spectrum. Okay, you don't want to be in perpetual drunkenness. Your mind will become dull and inept. Okay, you don't want to be in a perpetual state of maybe not drunkenness, but gladness that is false. Okay, because the Bible talks about, something about wine makes a heart glad. Well, if you are using wine to supplement the joy that God gives you all of the time, all right, let's say you are, chronically using wine or whatever, that it becomes an idol. And in that sense, it's the big sin, all right? So, take your wine and give glory to God. Strong drink, not recommended. It says it's a brawler. It's not wise. However, if you are a mixing kind of person, then you would want to be very judicious about how you use it and with what frequency. And so even it becoming an idol becomes difficult because you'll be the only one who really knows. It could be different for everybody, and your relationship with God If you have a problem with it, I suggest you pull back for a while. I don't know what that while is, but could be it could be a couple weeks, could be a couple months, it could be a couple years. Say, hey, look, you don't got time for this right now. You've got other priorities. Pull back from it. Pull back from it and save it for a year down the road where things are more stable for you, and you can either try it again and just decide. Now, there are also people who are dependent upon things, they say, and I would say that, look, God can heal you of anything if that's the case. If you have that spirit, fine. But if you become healed from it, then you may also just steer clear from it too. I don't know. It's different for everyone. So you're going to have to judge for yourself. That's how JB's starting this one out. Now, sluggard does not plow in the autumn. He will seek a harvest and have nothing. Well, you've got to do the prep work. All right. And if their seasons are like our seasons, you got to plow. And I think you let that ground kind of get ready. It starts to decompose. It gets prepared so you can plant in the spring. He will seek a harvest and have nothing. So if you don't do that due diligence early on, guess what? You're not going to have a crop. Who can say, I have made my heart pure? I am unclean. I am clean from my sin. Well, Jesus. But it's interesting how this is a sarcastic, an ironic kind of statement, that it's not saying you can. It's saying you can't. And you can't, because you can't, you should probably think about who can, which is God, Jesus. Love not sleep, lest you come into poverty. Open your eyes, and you have plenty of bread. Yep. You can't be sleeping too long. Now, there's a certain amount of sleep I think people do need, but sometimes you press. Sometimes you keep those eyes open, you press. And you don't want to love sleep. You want to use it as a tool that God's given you to recharge and to open with fresh eyes. Bad, says the buyer. When he goes away, then he boasts. This is for you salesmen. Your customers are going to try to undercut you. Your people are going to try to talk about all the bad points. But when they walk away, then they talk about this great deal that they got. And so be aware that this is a strategy that's not new. This is a proverb 3,000 years old, and they know what people do. If one curses his father or mother, his lamp will be put out in utter darkness. Children out there, let them know. Let them know. I got someone near and dear to me who is dangerously close to this, and it's only because of their situation do I really overlook it. But I would encourage you who are doing this to your parents, trying to don't do it. Get into God's word, and you'll find your relationship with them has a new meaning and a new depth. And if they don't want to get with God, then that's their issue. Okay, that's their issue. Do not say, I will repay evil. Wait for the Lord, and he will deliver you. Don't repay. That's the Lord's. The Lord's will. The Lord will be doing his vengeance. The Lord will be basically handling his own business. So I would encourage you to watch what the Lord will do when you pray to him about your issues. Okay. A wise king winnows the wicked and drives the wheel over him. Now they're talking about their grain and how they use the winnowing fork. Okay. And the wheel over them is just powerful imagery. Isn't that awesome? Proverbs 20. Let's read it out. All right. Wine is a mocker, strong drink a brawler, and whoever is led astray by it is not wise. The terror of king is like the growling of a lion. Whoever provokes him to anger forfeits his life. It is an honor for a man to keep aloof from strife, but every fool will be quarreling. The sluggard does not plow in the autumn. He will seek at harvest and have nothing. The purpose of a man's heart is like deep water, but a man of understanding will draw it out. Many a man proclaims his own steadfast love, but a faithful man who can find? The righteous who walks in his integrity, blessed are his children after him. A king who sits on the throne of judgment winnows all evil with his eyes. Who can say, I have made my heart pure, I am clean from my sin? Unequal weights and unequal measures are both alike an abomination to the Lord. Even a child makes himself known by his acts, by whether his conduct is pure and upright. The hearing ear and the seeing eye, the Lord has made them both. Love not sleep, lest you come to poverty. Open your eyes, and you will have plenty of bread. Bad, bad, says the buyer. But when he goes away, then he boasts, there is good and abundance of costly stones. But the lips of knowledge are a precious jewel. Take a man's garment when he has put up security for a stranger, and hold it in pledge when he puts up security for foreigners. Bread gained by deceit is sweet to a man, but afterwards his mouth will be full of gravel. Plans are established by counsel. By wise guidance wage war. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets. Therefore do not associate with a simple babbler. If one curses his father or his mother, his lamp will be put out in utter darkness. An inheritance gained hastily in the beginning will not be blessed in the end. Do not say, I will repay. Wait for the Lord, and he will deliver you. Unequal weights are an abomination to the Lord, and false scales are not good. A man's steps are from the Lord. How then can a man understand his way? It is a snare to rashly say, it is holy, and reflect only after making vows. Take a little bit of that too. A wise king winnows the wicked and drives the wheel over them. The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all his innermost parts. Steadfast love and faithfulness preserve the king, and steadfast love, his throne is upheld. The glory of young men is their strength, but the splendor of old men is their gray hair. Blows that wound cleanse away evil. Strokes make clean the innermost parts. You notice when I'm in here and I read through it again, I go ahead and I mark up what also pulls out. You know, what also signals something interesting. It's a snare to rashly say, it is holy, and to reflect only after making vows. You want to think before you do stuff. Proverbs, my brothers and sisters, my friends, and whoever, get wisdom. Let's do this.